بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، أنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I ask Allah to raise the rank and the honor, the status of Sayyiduna Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow them in excellence until the day of judgment. And I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us the sincere intentions. Insha'Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, briefly, I wanted to continue in a discussion that we were talking about the primary sources of Islamic knowledge. We talked about the Quran, and we talked about some of the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I want to really emphasize some points about learning. As we talk about the Quran and the Sunnah being source of revelations, so as Muslims, we follow Al-Quran and we follow the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And in that terms, we meant the narrations that have been related about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the books of Hadith. Excuse me 1 second. So we talked about the Quran and the Sunnah, being the sources of revelation. And we always have this statement, I follow Quran and Sunnah. And those statements and narrations that are contained in the books of Hadith. But one of the things I want you to understand is that there is a distinct difference. Please keep this in mind. From narrating and understanding. So when we talk about the hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, reading hadith does not mean you understand the hadith. I repeat, reading, being able to recite a hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or even for that matter, a verse of the Quran, does not mean you understand it. Is this clear for everyone? oftentimes we quote قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم such and such and such. قال الله تبارك وتعالى such and such and such. Allah said such and such. That does not entail that we understand what we just quoted. Oftentimes, like I said, these are not the ones I was looking for, but I have. So this is important. So in terms of hadith, there's two things. You have a riwayah. I want you to remember these words. And a diraya. Right? So one is narrating something, transmitting, riwayah. I relate from my sheikh, who relates from his sheikh, who relates from his sheikh, who relates in a continuous chain, say back to Al-Bukhari. That's called riwayah. So you can relate, and this is valid. It is essential that you relate in a proper manner, which is another entire discussion. Then there is the diraya of that. Do you understand what you narrated? Right? Do you understand what you narrated? That understanding is the realm, usually in Islamic sciences, of jurists, fuqaha, jurists, right? So that should be understood. To interpret the hadith is the job of learned people who understand what is related to that hadith and how it is applicable to a particular ruling. Not just quoting a hadith in and of itself is an evidence. Please put that up. Quoting a hadith, which is narrating, is not a proof in and of itself. It's a very important point you need to understand. I'm talking about you as a learner, someone that's beginning. Because you're always going to run around someone who's quoting hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, or quoting verses. Allah said, that's not an evidence. That's narrating. That's not a proof. It's two different things. So with that said, when to use a hadith or a verse as an evidence for a ruling is the job of a jurist, not a common person, not even necessarily a scholar of hadith. Let me give you an analogy of that. So we look at the major books of hadith, like the book of Imam al-Bukhari or Imam Muslim, right? Imam al-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, and Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, and others. But you notice we don't have a madhab in terms of rulings called the madhab of Imam al-Bukhari or the madhab of Imam Muslim or the madhab of Abu Dawood or An-Nasa'i or Ibn Majah, at-Tirmidhi. Rather, we follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmed, right? And when you learn al-fiqh, you learn the rules of jurisprudence, you won't find the scholars of legal rulings just quoting hadith without knowing how they're applied. That doesn't exist. And oftentimes, I never forget this, I learned this lesson when Sheikh Samir was teaching an individual who was of this character. He quotes hadith, he says Allah said and the messenger said. And so he was quoting the hadith on a case, and Sheikh Samir said to him, complete the hadith. And the guy was looking kind of like strange. He said, complete that hadith. He didn't know the whole entire hadith, he knew a part of it. And Sheikh Samir said to him, the hadith you use is a proof against your claim. And he quoted the whole hadith. And then he explained how that portion of the hadith was impacted by the latter portion of the hadith, and the ruling was taken from the latter portion of the hadith, not the beginning of the hadith. And the guy was sitting there like stunned. And then Sheikh said, now I want you to go look up what I just told you. Go look it up. The guy couldn't even research the books. Sheikh said, the books are here right in the office with Imam Amin. Go find what I just told you. Right? He couldn't. He didn't even know how to navigate the books of hadith or the types of books of hadith and how rulings are understood, and let alone the books of al-fiqh that explain them. He was teaching us a lesson. Quoting does not mean you understand. Quoting does not mean you understand. Which is not problematic if you know that, right? What a lot of us don't realize is that this work was already done by the jurists, most of it. So for us, it is just exposure. For us, it's exposure. I'm working on a project. There is a group of people. I'm working on a project. I want y'all to know me. Sometimes I have a little kid in me, right? You do realize that. Did y'all gather that yet? That I have a little kid in me sometimes? Yeah, quite a lot. I'm serious, but sometimes I mess with people. Maybe I should fix myself. But sometimes I like to engage. I like to have a little fun, right? So I have these guys that want to be scholars. So they practice their scholarship on me. I don't know why they don't go mess with the real people. Oh, I do, but that's another story. But they want to come at me, guns blazing. So what I do is mess with them. I'll throw something out there that requires research. I know they don't even have the ability to research, but they think they learned it in imams, right? So I'll throw something out that requires research. I know it requires research. I know the research it requires. I know they can't do it. I'm trying to teach them something, but some people only learn from realizing, being taught that you really don't know. Then you'll learn. So I shoot something out. They quote in hadith, so I shoot something out. Make you go do research. They want to refute me, but they don't have the answers. But they still don't stop them from trying to refute, right? So, funny thing, then they contact me to help them do their research. I'm like, let me get this straight. You want me to research for you so you can refute me. Oh, that hurts. I'm sorry. But let me get this straight. You want me to research for you so you can refute me. Okay. Don't hold your breath. Right, let's stop. But my point in that, I'm just messing around with them. They'll get it. I'm going to wait till they finish their research and then supply them with all the answers they're looking for. Right? But the point is, instead of just learning properly, why are you trying to do it yourself? You don't have the tools. Narrating is different from understanding. And you're only going to get understanding from living teachers. If you read on your own, you're quoting and narrating. You're not necessarily going to understand other details. Other rulings sometimes affect other rulings. Hadith affect other hadith. Verses of the Quran affect other verses of the Quran. Some hadith affect understanding the verses of the Quran. Right? That's life. That's the way Islamic law works. In more details, I'm just giving you like we're talking in a way so that we understand something. You know the biggest problem that affected the so-called Salafi movement is this issue. Narrating and quoting without understanding. The scholars, they say it this way. The hadith scholars are like pharmacists. And the scholars of al-fiqh jurisprudence are like the doctors. The pharmacists will never prescribe you medicine. That's not their job. Once the doctor gives you a prescription, then the pharmacist will supply the medicine. He knows about the medicines. He will tell you how this medicine works, but he always say refer to your doctor. Do you notice that? Right? It's very important. The pharmacist is not going to play the role of the doctor. Why? Because the pharmacist may know medicine, but not know how to treat the illness itself and what medicines do what at what time, and that's not the pharmacist's field. Even though they may have some insight in it from experience, that's not their field. Their field is to make sure you get the right medicine. Right? So the hadith scholar is providing you with reports, not understanding of the reports. So you can't read a book of hadith and then go make fiqh rulings. It doesn't work. Right? There are entire books written on understanding the mindset of hadith scholars when they selected certain hadiths. Books written just on that subject. What is the fiqh of al-Bukhari in the title chapter headings he used? Why he used them? What was he trying to get at? Scholars doing that, wrote books. So it's important for us, two things. To expand our knowledge of the hadith works. So we need to have abundant reading in the books of hadith for exposure, narration, right? Narration. Then, for our sake, we need to have exposure within the madhab. You got a group of brothers, And I'm attacking, so you understand this. I'm straight attacking. Yes, so it's not hitting. I'm attacking. I'm not going to name names, though. That claim to be Maliki. And I speak to the learned people among the Malikis. Stop them guys in their tracks. Y'all can. Who have not read above the beginning level of Maliki fiqh. They haven't went above the beginning level. They're still reading introductory books, but they're acting like they went all the way up to the major books in the madhab, and they're making rulings. I'm specifically talking about brothers who claim to be Malikis among the African American community. They haven't went beyond the basic beginner text of the madhab, and they're giving judgments as if they read even the medium level books. They haven't done it. None of them. Not a one. Am I right, Imam Naeem? I got to put you on the spot since you jumped out there. Right? Am I right? Are those people reading Maliki fiqh? Let me explain something to you. I got to shoot. I'm sorry, you started it. Y'all want to talk about it? We're going to talk about it. No Maliki student of knowledge, not one around the world, uses as references the books those people are walking around talking about Maliki fiqh. Not one Maliki, nowhere in the world. Sometimes I engage. Not one Maliki in the entire world walks around and teaches the books they're talking about as Maliki fiqh. Nobody. Not one of them. Not one of them. Not one of them have studied with a teacher any major book in Maliki fiqh. Not one of them. And the books that they use are not books that are taught in Maliki fiqh. And you got people they're talking about subjects that has nothing to do with Maliki fiqh. Talking about we Maliki. Has nothing to do with fiqh at all. I fired. Yes, I did. Why am I firing? Because that is affecting our people. It's easier just to say I haven't learned that. That's easy. I haven't learned that. Right? Instead of making fatwas that you know nothing about, not even in your own madhab. You're not qualified. I said it. You're not qualified to refute anybody. You need to sit down and go learn. You need to sit down and go learn. And stop playing doctor when you're not even in high school yet. Stop playing doctor when you're not even in high school yet. None of y'all. That was my engagement, but forget about who. That's obvious. But the point is, go learn for all of us. That's the real point. Go learn. Let's go sit. Let's go sit with your teachers. Let's have some gatherings with your teachers. Not you. Let's have some gatherings with the teachers who taught you Maliki fiqh. Let's go sit with your Maliki fiqh teachers who gave you ijazah to teach that stuff. Bring them. we would like to have a conversation, not with you, with your teachers. You're not qualified for the conversation. Bring your teachers. All right. As Sheikh Waleed said, I deviated, but it's all relevant. So my point is, let's take that to another level. I was talking about hadith, right? And I was talking about the Quran. Likewise, are basic books of fiqh. Basic books of fiqh. What a lot of these guys don't realize, the way madhahib schools teach fiqh is by levels. That means they start you with a summarized book that only has a few rulings. Let me share something with you. Those summarized books you're teaching, they're not meant for teaching. They're meant for memorization, to facilitate when you actually memorize something, that when you get to a bigger level, you have basic rulings and cases in your mind. So when you get to real studies, you won't be lost. That's the purpose of those books. They're summarized to be memorized. And you haven't memorized those books well. So you didn't even use the purpose of the book. They're not for you to be giving legal rulings. That's not the purpose of those books. Even by your scholars, that's not the purpose. They're for you to memorize basic rulings to prepare you for further studies. Right? To prepare you for further studies. So what you don't realize is there are more details to the rulings that you got that are summarized, designed for you to memorize by the scholars. When you forget that, you're going to make mistakes in your rulings because you don't even know that there are a whole more deep details that relate to those rulings. That's one side. Second case, I'm going to put it to the side. Now you go do your homework and answers. Go to your sheikhs. No, the ones you don't got, go to them. In addition to that, in every madhab, every school, you have books that are the relied upon opinion and judgment in the school, in every school. You have certain major texts that are the authoritative opinion in the school, even though there may be other opinions, but this is the authoritative opinion in the school. If you have not read those books with a teacher and exposed, you don't even know what is the opinion in the madhab, let alone making your own. You don't know. Period. Right? You don't. Mr. We Maliki. You're not Maliki. You're a layman. You should stop. And a layman doesn't have a school of thought. You are a common person, not a Maliki. You're a common person. You need to learn before you can say I'm a Maliki. How do I know this? Let me surprise you. I have Maliki teachers. Let me surprise you. I have Maliki teachers who give fatwa in the Maliki madhab. I'm not like you. I'm not like you. And I'm not Maliki. So I know you fronting, right? This will just, I'm making a point. Even though I'm firing shots and having fun, I'm making a real important point. Right? I'm having fun, but making serious points. So Ignore the fun part. It's just the kid in me. I'm really shooting at them, right? Just because they're shooting at me all the time. So I just fire back, have a little fun. But the more serious lesson for all of us, Shafi'i, Malik, Hanafi, just as learners, there are levels to this. For all of us, seriously, there are levels to this. I'll give you an example. I'm Shafi'i, right? So in the Shafi'i school, there are different sequences of learning books, right? There are certain structures that we have that are well known in the Shafi'i school. If you're studying Shafi'i fiqh, there are certain books that you should have read and should have studied with your teachers as you climb the level, right? So at the beginning level, and it can be less than that, but I told you the early books are only for you to get to memorize. Commonly practiced at the first level of complete study of the science of al-fiqh is going to be the summary of Abu Shuja', right? It's translated in English. I think they call it the Ultimate Conspectus or something like that. It's published in English by Musa Ferber. That book is usually the first book that someone studies that covers the complete judgments of Islamic law, al-fiqh. Then, depending where you're at, there's going to be a book above that. And among the reliable books that we're all familiar book after that, if you want to summarize in a strict curriculum, would be The Reliance of the Traveler. I'm talking about summarizing to make like the shortest amount of books I can study to have a deep understanding of the school, right? After that, if you want to just go one more level, you would go to Al-Minhaj of Imam An-Nawawi. So these are 3 books that is going to give you a stair step, right? To fiqh rulings, right? And then along that, and in between that, there are multiple books before the text of Abu Shuja', and there are books after it before Reliance of the Traveler, and there are books after Reliance of the Traveler before Al-Minhaj, and after Minhaj, there are super commentaries. You would have to have exposure to all of this stuff in the school, right? If you don't, you really haven't understood the school. You're beginning, like we are beginners. No problem, right? Does the same thing in the Maliki school, the same thing in the Hanbali school, the same thing in the Hanafi school, right? So without that knowledge, you are a beginner, right? You're a beginner. And all of us are beginners. This is what I'm talking about. I'm getting ready to embarrass you. Stop talking, seriously. You can get mad, but don't get mad. Listen to this. Reliance of the Traveler is just a summary of Umdat Salik. Excuse me, the Reliance of the Traveler is Umdat Salik. That's my point. But I love you. Stop. The Reliance of the Traveler is Umdat Salik. It's not a summary of Umdat Salik. It is Umdat Salik. The word Umdat Salik means reliance. Umda Salik means traveler. I'm making a point. Calm down. We have to calm down, us. Now get mad at me. You just made a mistake, a major one. It is the whole Umdat Salik. It is the whole Umdat Salik. Maybe what you're trying to say, you should ask, especially since you're not Shafi'i, you're Maliki, you should ask. It is the whole Umdat Salik. The only thing was that he added notes to Umdat Salik to make it more facilitating for those who don't have a teacher. So they would know if you were sitting with a teacher, these are things they would add to make you understand the text. So the book is a translation of Umdat Salik with notes. And simple, if you want to know that, all you got to do is go read the introduction. All you got to do is read the introduction. Be honest to yourself. Have you ever compared the original Umdat Salik in Arabic, the original book, and that translation, Reliance of the Traveler? Have you ever compared the two? Say no. Be honest. Say no. Let's be humble here. No, I haven't. Okay, that's my point. You haven't. So you really don't know. It's easier just to say, I don't know. I haven't done the work. Simple. No problem. No blame. The blame is when we start talking and we know we don't know what we're talking about and we keep talking. That's how we get embarrassed. I don't know. It's fine. I don't know. It's fine. It works. I don't know. And the question is, you said you have it in Arabic. Have you compared the English translation with the Arabic translation to see what's missing and what's there and what's not there? Have you done it? The answer is no. You don't have to tell me. I already know no. I just want you to say, no, I didn't do it. Why it's so hard for you guys to say, I don't know? It's part of the religion. I don't know. Why is that difficult? Why it's so hard to say, I don't know. La adri, Allahu a'lam. Why so hard? Every teacher you should have studied with should have told you that, to say, I don't know in its proper place. I don't know. It's not blameworthy. You don't know, you don't know. What is blameworthy is to not know and keep talking. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. And I know such a discussion be look like I'm picking on y'all. Nah, y'all keep stepping out there. That's what happened. Ain't nobody picking on y'all. Y'all keep stepping out there. Stop. Give yourselves a break. We are brothers, but I don't support that stuff. You got to go learn. We must learn, all of us. No one excluded, including myself. We have to learn. And one of the things we have to learn is to say, I don't know. That's it. In its proper place. To say, I don't know. Now, some of us just ignore you. Why don't you be among them and just ignore? You already embarrassed yourself and just go ahead and ignore. I still love you, but you're not here to learn. You're here to show you know something that you don't know. So be like the others. Ignore me too. And I still love you. And you can still call me. And you can still ask me questions. And I'm going to still be your brother. But I'm not going to tolerate that stuff. Right? I'm going to still love you. But I ain't going to tolerate the faking jacks. We ain't doing that. But I still love you. Never forget that. And my phone is always open to you. You can call me. You can talk. Whatever you want. We cool. But I ain't tolerating that. All right. So I'm going to leave that alone. I love you. But listen, that's my point. I think my summary, I know I pull them out the weeds. Right? Stop. My summary is this. We all have to learn. And believe me, this ain't the best way to do it. It's not. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala improve me, because sometimes I just get tired of this stuff. I can't overlook it. Sometimes I just be like, you know what? Right? I overlook a lot, but sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can't. Because y'all don't know what we go through on a regular dealing with this stuff when we're teaching. Right? So please be patient with me as you be patient with us. This is how we get down sometimes, right? But nevertheless, the point, so it don't get lost, because I have to go. Uh, the point is, there's a difference from narrating and actually understanding. That's one point. The second point, right? Uh, the second point is that there are levels to the learning process. There are levels. And we have to be patient in going through those levels. The third point is that there are details to legal rulings that we need to have access to the people of knowledge for those rulings. And we shouldn't take that position. We can make mistakes. We're humans. We're going to make errors. That's going to happen. But when we make those areas, we got to pull back. We got to slow down because people are learning from us, and we got to be responsible to our level. And the last thing, and I'll start with this, all of us, including myself, let's make an environment among us where it's okay to say, I don't know, right? It's okay. And we accept that I don't know. That's not blameworthy to say, I don't know. Just, we can help each other. We're family, right? You notice, even though I had some fun with my brother, right? You know, as I said, at the end of the day, I still love you. My phone is always open. I never would treat you differently, but just that's out of pocket. So I'm going to hit you up. But we street guys, we understand that stuff, right? We understand we're going to get hit up sometimes, right? We understand that. It ain't going to bother us one bit. Now, some of us may be sensitive, but us, we're not, right? We brothers at the end of the day. And I don't know if y'all ever been in the hood, and some of you'll see guys, they be going at it, right? But they still brothers, but they go at it sometimes. This is us going at it, having fun. Get used to black culture, right? Sometimes we have rap battles. Sometimes we be set tripping. It's just the way it go. That's our culture. So, all right, we'll stop there. Yeah. Yeah, fighting, slap boxing, and ranking. That's right. That's how it go. So it goes like this. But here's one thing: we have a lot of work to do, and let us do it. But for real, all of us, never take it personal. Protect yourselves at all times. Don't put your guards down, because I'm a Floyd Mayweather you. Don't drop your hands. I'm messing with you. All right. Um, Barakallahu bikum. But those points, seriously, with all jokes aside, let's keep those points. Right? Uh, we brothers. Go ahead, Kylie. What's your question? Quickly. I gotta hurry up. What's your question? Shoot it, Khadijah. I asked it already. I didn't see it. Y'all crazy. You know that? Look at y'all comments. I love y'all. MashaAllah. Barakallahu bikum. All right. Keep us in a dua. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, when you say madhab, lay people don't have a madhab. All right. Can you explain? So let me explain what I mean by that. This is a good question, right? A common person, when you say you follow a madhab, that means you understand the rulings of the school from purification all the way, all of the sections to freeing slaves. So that's a wide range of Islamic rulings in a madhab. From purification, so you have a section in fiqh that relates to acts of worship, right? That's one section. You have a section that deals with dealings, transactions. That's another section of fiqh. You have a section that deals with marriage and divorce, family matters, custody. That's another section. Then you have another section that deals with crimes and punishments and the judiciary, legal courts, judges. That's another section. All of that makes up the body of al-fiqh, right? Every school, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi, Hanbali, has went over and deduced rulings from the primary sources related to all those subjects, and they're in books, right? The one who follows a madhab should be aware of all of that. If he's only aware of a part of it, he's not considered a follower of that school. He follows that school in some matters. What about the other matters? He's not following the school because he doesn't know it. So what does such a person do? He follows the qualified scholar that is available to him in those other rulings. So he cannot say I'm Maliki and he's getting involved with transactions and he doesn't know the rules according to the Maliki jurists, the mujtahidun among them. He cannot follow that because he's obligated, what? To follow qualified scholarship. And if qualified scholarship is not present, he can't follow it. So he's a common person. He's not considered a follower of the madhab, right? Do you understand what I mean by that? Does everyone understand that? So even though we say I'm Shafi, I'm Hanafi, Maliki, most of us are not none of that. We're common people trying to learn our religion, right? Maybe one day we'll become Shafi and Maliki in the real sense. And as our teachers told us, to really be counted, he should know the evidences for those rulings, which is a whole nother level. He should know the ruling and he should know the basic evidences for those rulings to be counted as following the madhab. Do you understand? Everyone who studied know this stuff. This is not like deep stuff. Everyone who studied traditionally with real teachers know this stuff. This is not like something Imam Amin is saying that's deep. Anyone who studied with living real teachers know this, right? Anyone who's actually sat and read word for word books with teachers know this. It's like common knowledge for students of knowledge. That's common knowledge. It's not something that's deep. That's why when I say we have a lot to learn, we do. It's a lot, including myself. I'm with you. I'm the same level. We're working, right? So even though I'm saying I'm a Shafi'i, I'm not really a Shafi'i in the true sense. I'm striving, right? And I've learned some books with living teachers from cover to cover, right? More than once. But still, I'm still learning, still in the process of beginner student. I'm still in the process of beginner student. I'll give you an example, right? I know brothers, my friends, right, who are all imams and teachers. I got some good friends. They study Shafi'i fiqh. We sit with each other, and all of us are imams with communities and institutions. And we be talking about issues that you would think is easy in Shafi'i school, but none of us know. We call each other all the time trying to clarify something to me that would be basic. We learned that if I'm not sure, better go ask, right? So we ask each other, and you will find all of us will be together. All of us have at least 10 to 20 years of studying, and we all say, I don't know. And all of us has finished books with teachers, some big teachers, and we constantly talking to each other and saying, I don't know, I'm gonna ask. Yo, could you go check with your resources? Could you go check with your resources? Constantly. And these, I don't want to name them, are top teachers in the country. They're my friends. Constantly, that's the case. Right? So it's not blameworthy. These guys been studying 15, 20 years, graduates from universities. It's what it is. We're learning. We're learning. It's okay. Now, to give you an understanding, these guys are graduates, they're imams, they're sheikhs, they're teachers, they're translators. And they constantly saying, I don't know, we got to go check. Right? So don't feel bad. If that's their case, what's our case? These guys studied for 10, 20 years, finished books with commentaries, translating, learning Arabic, and they doing that. They're still talking about, I don't know. So why should we feel bad? Right? I often call my sheikhs sometimes and they say, I don't know. I got to check. And they're the teachers. They say, I don't know. And sometimes I push because we got stuff going on and we need an answer. Your answer is, I don't know. You got to wait. I got to check. I got to check. I don't know. Right? I don't know. So let us all put it up there. Help us. Me too. I'm going to put it first. That's our humble pill for all of us. Put it up. So we never get too big for our britches. That applies to, I'm the first. I put it up. Right? It's cool. I know sometimes it's a hard way just to get this point. Right? For all of us. Put it up. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, Muhammad. Abu Muhammad, you always want to get known. Abu Muhammad Maliki, come on, put it up. It applies to you too. You ain't that busy. You jump in all the time. Jump in and say, I don't know. I need to review and learn. This is going to be fun. I can't wait. Come on, Abu Muhammad. Where you at? Put it up. And guess what? All of us should be comfortable with that. And if we're serious like that, one day we will know some stuff, right? If we're serious, one day we're going to know. There you go, my brother. Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! See? We know how to mix it up and then get to the point where we all come together. I don't know. I need to review and learn. And now listen to this, right? Now all of us realize that we need to give all of us a break because all of us are like that, right? All of us give the other a break because all of us are like that. We all learning, we all trying. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do wrong things. And when we do it, somebody going to check us. And that's fine. But it's not going to be a bad spirit. It's going to be like, you made a mistake and you're wrong and you can fix it. And then we got to be humble enough, if we're mistaken, to say, yeah, that was a mistake. I was wrong. And then follow the truth. And then if we can get that spirit, we'll be all right. As a group, as a family, then we can get together and really do good things. It's okay. I'm wrong all the time. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. I make mistakes. And when someone points them out, I just say that was wrong. I'll fix it. No problem. Right? I make mistakes. Sheikh Samir says to us all the time, and I'm going to go visit him, inshallah. If those who are in America, he's going to be in California, Florida, and one more place. I think Arizona. I don't know. It's one more place I forgot. But he's here this weekend. Right? Well, I got to call you. You started it. You call me. No, I'm joking. All right, I'll give you a call after this is over. Sheikh Samir says all the time, I may be right, I may be wrong. All the time. Right? I may be right, I may be wrong. No exaggeration. In his generation of scholars in Damascus, he's at the top level. Serious. Sheikh Samir in Damascus is one of the foremost scholars in the country. Right? All the level of scholars above him, he was one of their best students. The top scholars above him, they all have passed. May Allah have mercy on all of them. His teachers around the world are the top scholars in the field, right? He's serious, right? And he always says, I may be right, I may be wrong. And I spent a lot of time traveling with him and learning from him. And I've never seen him say, I don't know, ever. Even when we studying stuff he's a master of, he said, he's a master. I'm talking about a real qualified master. He's a walking encyclopedia, right? And he said, I don't know. A lot. Sometimes we would be sitting together and he say, I don't know. And my ego be like, I know that. But I'm smart enough to say, he said, I don't know for a reason. Shut your mouth. Right? No, he's never been to Canada. We tried before, but it was too many details. One day, inshallah. But no, he has not come to Canada. He came to Detroit, though. That's close. Detroit area, Michigan. But no, I'm just serious. So we can listen, man, cut the ego stuff out. What was Spencer's question? I already went over time. I done missed the class. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I messed it up. Go ahead. Shoot your loaded question, Khadija. I'll take your questions about what I said. Go. What was Hossein? What was your question? Put it back. I don't see it. Please forgive me. I get distracted sometimes. Hussein, could you put your question back? I didn't see it. Farouk, he'll be in Florida. I got to find out where. I'll tell you. I forget. I think it's at the same masjid he was at before when we came. I got to find out. I don't know. Was your question, Habibi? Go ahead, Khadija, ask your question. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I drop the ball sometimes, man. Forgive me. Doc, that's why I need counseling. You got to keep me focused. My Maliki brothers is getting under my skin. Oh, my goodness. Allah. Oh, okay. So majority of us being lay people, we don't have a madhab. Technically speaking, I'm being technical here. I'm technically speaking. In general, you follow the madhab that's available to you. And in the rulings you don't know, you follow what is available. So you're always going to follow a madhab, but you might not necessarily follow the madhab, the same madhab in every issue, because that knowledge may not be available to you. So for instance, if you learn Maliki fiqh and you only learn the Tahara, Salat, say in Zakat or Hajj, right? Then uh, then you have to follow other madhabs in other issues that you come. So if you're going to get some rulings or you're doing business and you don't have access to Maliki scholarship, you got to find scholarship according to the other madhab and you got to practice according to that madhab, right? You can't just say I'm Maliki and then do the act of worship wrong, or I'm Shafi'i and do the act of worship wrong because you don't have the knowledge available for that case. You understand what I'm saying? So the layman may be in different madhabs, long as he's following the madhab and qualified scholarship. That's the point. Right? That's okay. Good. These are good questions, Hussein. So I can learn Maliki fiqh in one issue, then Ahnaf, Hanafi in another. I always thought it was wrong to mix madhabs. That's not mixing madhabs. Mixing madhabs is when you join in the same ruling between different madhabs, in the same ruling, not in different cases. That's not mixing madhabs. So if you're mixing in the same case in such a way that no one would consider your act of worship valid, that's wrong, right? In terms of following different madhabs in different rulings that are not connected, this is valid. And that's what you have to do if you don't have qualified teachers in all the rulings of the sacred law. You don't have a choice. That's what you have to do. But as long as it's a qualified legal school, like the Hanafi school, the Maliki school, Shafi school, Hanbali school, right? So you understand now? That's what's meant. What you're talking about, what is prohibited, is to mix in one case. Okay. We crawling under your skin? Yeah, because y'all can do stuff I can't do, right? Y'all can do stuff And when I say you crawl under my skin, right? Because y'all can get away with stuff I can't get away with. Like I actually have real living teachers that watch what I do, like, and they'll check me if I go too far, right? I actually have a living teacher. I have real sheikhs, and I studied, and I represent them. I have their ijazas, and what I do affects them. So I can't just do anything. And I'm still always on the borderline because I'm a black guy. You know how we get down, right? But I got to watch myself. Where y'all don't have real teachers that watch y'all as a whole. And you can say, I do, but the rest of them don't. And you know it, and I know it. So y'all can do whatever y'all want, right? If I say about a woman, I ain't paying no dowry to get some yams, my sheikhs will be on my case. I say some stuff like that. I can't do it, right? If I say something like that, my sheikhs will be all over my back. I couldn't get away with it, right? Because that would be considered blameworthy for me to say something like that. They would be on my back. I couldn't do it. I understand the slang, but I can't do that. But y'all can, because no one is going to check you, right? I can't do that, right? I can't do that. You see my point? So sometimes it's like, it's not a fair discussion. Sometimes you can get away with stuff that I can't. So you can hit me all day. If I hit you back, I'm like, see, I hit you today. And I ain't hit you hard. I'm just messing with you and lightly. But if I kept it up, it'll look like I'm bullying you. And you're a tough guy. It ain't that I'm bullying you, but the levels of knowledge are vastly different. So it'd be looking like I'm taking advantage of you. And that's wrong. So I got to eat that. You can fire me all day. But if I fire back, I'm a bad guy. Right? And, you see my point? So that's how you can get on. Because I'm from the street. I want to hit you back. Right? I want to come on your podcast and eat y'all for breakfast, but I can't. That's my knives. I know it's wrong, so I don't do it. But I would love to just rip one of y'all apart for breakfast, right? But I can't do that. It's wrong. I know it's wrong. I know y'all level of knowledge, and that wouldn't be right. That would be wrong. That would be wrong. That would be totally wrong. I could line all of y'all up and just pop, 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 pop. It would be like Floyd Mayweather fighting the guy in the PAL building. See, now I'm having fun. But that's what it would look like. If all of us sat together and had a discussion, it would be like Floyd Mayweather fighting somebody in PAL. I'm just messing with y'all. I'm getting it off. Don't worry about it. Y'all got your platform. Y'all gonna go for it. All right, let me stop playing. But certain things you just can't do. Seriously. Certain things you just can't do. And so you helping me with my knives. So you've beaten me up and I can't respond. So you winning. May Allah reward you for helping me. I appreciate you controlling my knives, right? And helping me put them down and beat them up. Whenever I get out of line, you just pop and keep me down. Barakallahu bikum. May Allah reward you. See, everybody has a purpose. You my sheikh of Tarbiyah, right? You're training me. All right, I gotta go. Let me stop having fun. But honestly, you always welcome. You know that. And here's my brother Nail. He's another one. Nail helped me keep my knives together. But since we on it, don't refer to our sisters as yams. It's offensive and it hurts their feelings. Even though we may understand in a colloquial what you're saying, but don't do that. It hurts their feelings. In fact, let's be good Muslims. Apologize to the sisters for calling them yams. Let's just be good Muslims. Because you're imam. Even if a lot of people may not accept that, some people accept you as an imam. You shouldn't say stuff like that. Apologize to those sisters, brother. Be humble. Tell them, sisters, I was just using some slang. It was bad choice of words. Y'all not yams. Come on, we waiting, huh? We offended our sisters with that. Let's fix it. We can all be humble. Come on, brother. Don't be, you help me with my knives, so help you with yours. Say, I'm sorry. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Your typewriter ain't broke. Humble yourself. Say, I'm sorry. You said it multiple times. You wrote it. You said it. Just say, I'm sorry. And where's your teacher? Who's your teacher? He going to make you say sorry too. We men, we're going to show how to be humble. Where's your teacher? Who's your teacher? Who on here is the teacher of Abu Malik, Muhammad Maliki? Who's this sheikh? All right, there you go. MashaAllah. We won. Alhamdulillah. Now we're going to overlook you too. Right? Sisters, y'all see it. It's public. He apologized. We working on our nafs. Step by step. Sisters, I apologize for what I said, calling y'all yams. Please forgive me. Right? May Allah reward him. See, we can do it. So never walk around with hard hearts. Never walk around with hard hearts. We'll fix it. We ain't above apologizing. All right. Now let's go have some fun. Apology accepted from Malika. And Malika, I apologize if I ever upset you. And let's have one big family hug. MashaAllah. All right, y'all. Tonight is Friday. Sheikh Waleed, 40 Hadith. And we'll continue, inshallah. I love y'all, seriously. Only we can do this stuff, right? Us as a people, this stuff is so important that we get to be ourselves. Really, it's important. And we should take advantage of it, right? We should take advantage of it. We're going to make mistakes. It's fine, right? But at the end of the day, we're showing us how to be us and still try to be good Muslims in the process. We're going to make mistakes. It's fine. We're not enemies. I hope we're not, right? You got it, Doc. Squeeze away. All right. We're going to have one day, we're going to have a powwow with all of us. A real powwow. We're just going to let our hair down. I know where we could do that. I invite y'all to a barbershop conversation challenge. In the barbershop, you can say almost anything. There's no rules. All right. Assalamu alaikum. I'm just having fun. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning. May Allah reward you all. Jazakumullahu khairah. Thank you for being patient with me. But don't forget the lessons we learned today, because we learned some valuable lessons about brotherhood, about knowledge, about humbleness, about controlling the nafs. We learned a lot, even in the midst of having fun and clowning and saying truthful jokes. We still learn something, and that's the end game. We want to learn, right? All right. Barakallahu bikum. And Kufi's off to Miss Joanne. We thank you for your continued support and presence. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.